Hello traders and welcome back to another market update. My name is Nick and in today's video we are going to be taking a look at the currency market, seeing if we have any interesting technical analysis levels, points of resistance, support, all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and dive into it right now. EURUSD is going to be our first one, which if you take a look here, if we take a look on the left side of the chart, you can see we ended up holding this level very nicely. Now, if you were on our last market update video, you could see we talked about the fact that price was coming up towards this 50% level right here. And you can see that we did in fact hold that level very nicely. We have resistance at the left side and we also have the 50% level lining up nicely, and it looks like price is getting bearish. To me, this is potentially just the start of a bigger move, maybe back down to this structure here and maybe even longer term down to some more recent lows that we have seen on EURUSD. That's just my bias there on EURUSD from the technicals. That's what the chart's telling me. We'll see if it plays out. We also did put in this double top up here, which is another component of why I have a bearish thesis here on EURUSD. One more idea behind the bearish thesis there on EURUSD is if we back up to the daily chart, we still have this very strong downtrend in progress, in motion here, as EURUSD continues to follow this kind of trend and fall to the downside, right? So watching that to see if we can get that continuation. If we do see a major continuation, I would expect to probably see price fall towards these longer term lows, which will be interesting to see if we can get that to play out. GBPUSD is our next one, which did catch a kind of resistance point up here along the top. You can see we did put in kind of a triple top potential there. If we can start to break lower here, then this might be kind of a confirmed range that we are currently trading in. You can see price going back and forth as GBPUSD finding resistance once more along this resistance point up top. So we'll see if that can hold for the time being, just watching that zone playing out back and forth. Dollar yen is the next one here. We can take a look at the daily chart and you can see we are seeing some rejection here on the dollar yen. And you can see if we look left, we have this kind of structure here. We have structure looking left here, here, and here. Now holding now for the time being. Now the question will also be though, watching dollar yen, as we've talked about recently, is can we break through this kind of upward trend line that we do see, right? Price holding this area, and will we be able to break through that trend line to the downside? If so, that might be the start to a bigger reversal, maybe coming down here as a potential target, target one, right? And then a potential target two would be if we can break through that level, of course, we could start to see a fall towards these lower levels here. Those are just levels that I see there using my technical analysis. Let's take a look at Brent Crude. So Brent Crude here on the 4-hour chart, we are seeing a pullback here on this chart, which is interesting because we've been watching this kind of trend here for a while, and it looks like price did break through the lows of that trend. We did kind of put in a multiple top there. You can see price holding here and here, before falling over and looking like now it wants to potentially break this level, and now testing to see can this level now hold as resistance to push us lower. We will see what happens there on oil. This will definitely be interesting. While we're at it, let's take a look at WTI crude, which looks a little bit less bearish. In fact, if you look at it from this perspective, it looks like we're holding that trend line for the time being. We did get a pretty steep sell-off there, right? And it looks like price may want to bounce or find some sort of support, as it has in the past very well along this upward trend line. So we'll see what happens there on WTI crude. Gold is our next one here. You can see, taking a look at the daily chart, we are seeing some bullishness starting out this week, but price is not able to continue with so much steam. You can see we started out the week filling the gap very nicely, but overall still seeing that we haven't seen some sort of continuation or strong follow through here coming into the week. Now, I do want to mention here, while we're looking at gold, we kind of have this downward trend line, right? And we also have the channel, or the downward channel overall. And so price did come down to that lower level of the channel, and you can see we found support and are now rallying. So it's not out of the question that we could see price rally further to test this upper high along the downward channel before finding continuation to the downside. That's just something that I see there from the technicals, is respecting this overall market structure until something significant happens. A lot of times you see markets just respecting those levels. Dollar Canadian is our next one, which rallied quite a bit recently. You can see, taking a look at the daily chart, it looks like we have actually broken some of this bearish structure. Oops, I messed us up. Let's take a look here. So if we back up just a little bit, you can see what we've been watching here on dollar CAD has been this kind of downward trend line, but it looks like price wants to break out of that trend line, and we may actually be seeing some start to a bigger trend to the upside there on dollar Canadian. Now, we do have some first stops to consider from a technical perspective, which is going to be this level here, right? You kind of have this zone of resistance along the top, where price may find some sort of supply or resistance before before pulling back. But if we do hold this level, my bias would be that we could see a continued dollar Canadian move to the upside. While we're talking about CAD pairs, let's take a look at Euro Canadian, which is also very bullish right now. And if we draw this level here, this level looks like it is a very kind of interesting zone of resistance historically, right? You have this price level holding here, holding in this area here, as well as this area here. And it looks like price is currently testing to see if this zone can either break or pull back as a resistance point. Now, I would say that it's probably just going to break back down. However, we do have a bullish thesis in the sense that we do have this kind of rising level of demand, right? It's not the most clean trend line, but you can see the concept is that we are putting in these higher lows, showing that there is a lot of buyers stepping into this market. So of course, might be interesting to watch to see if we can catch a break. If there is a break, there might be some continuation opportunities there on Euro Canadian. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to another market update, and we'll see you next time.